Good morning, YouTubers. As you probably saw from my last video with Leor Gans, I went to a gun show. I want to talk about that for a second before I get into this video. And I also want to say another thing. You know, I know Leor, man, I have a hard time saying that. Leor. I don't know why I can't say that. You know, where he said we may not even have a crash. It could just go to stocks exploding, you know. And I thought about that, you know. I think we have to, again, there's just too much that says we got to have a crash first before we really start skyrocketing back up again. And I know even Cliff High's Webbot has been saying Dow 100,000. But I also remember a long time back, it said Dow 20,000 before the next crash would come. And again, we just have so many problems. We got all these issues coming up this week. Debt ceiling, repeal and replace Obamacare, tax reform. I mean, man. And if any of those things goes badly, and there might be a chance that they all go badly, man, this cannot be good for the market. But anyway, so I went to the gun show, went by myself, where I used to live. Neighbor, a little few houses down, called me a few days ago and was like, hey, can you stop by my house? You know, my dad lives next to me, and he's having a problem connecting to his dad's sister online. They play like a card game or, you know, something like that together. I was like, yeah, no problem. I was like, how about Saturday? So I felt like after the gun show, maybe stop getting a little lunch and then head over to his house. So I did. Turned out it was working fine. Who knows what happened. But you know, he was my cool neighbor when I lived back over there. You know, we talk about guns and stuff, and you know, gold and silver, and Obama, and all the other crap that was going on. And we both got on the Trump train together too. You know, so that was kind of cool to see him again. It's been a little while, but like I said, I was going to the gun show. So I wake up, do my thing, go to the gun show, and it's like, you know, $6 to park and $11 to go into the gun show. No problem. You know, $17, whatever. And I'm thinking, you know, I showed you this pistol the other day that I got. Again, I haven't even shot the thing yet, but I do a lot of looking up at reviews and what other people have to say, people who know a lot more about guns than I do. And I'm pretty decent, you know, as far as my knowledge goes. But I told myself, man, I wonder if I should get 2 of these. Now, and this was the other day. As soon as I get home, my wife's going to be like, why'd you get 2? You know, I'm not really going to ever use that. Yeah, I'll just get the one. So I get the one, come back home. This is about a week ago. I said, yeah, Evelyn, I was thinking about getting 2. This is a little 380. You could handle it. The girls could handle it. Well, you know, I always thought, I wonder if I should, you know, my friend works at that gun store. I'm thinking about maybe getting my concealed weapons permit. What? Excuse me? I should have got 2 of these damn things. Son of a gun. So, wait a minute. The gun show's coming up this weekend. Okay. I'll go there. Maybe I'll get a deal. Just a FYI. It's been, I'll be honest, it's been quite a few years since old Joe went to a gun show and actually priced stuff around. Years ago, Frank and I went to one. In fact, that might have been the last one we went to. And somebody there had a beautiful AK-47 that was nickel-plated. It was just beautiful. Frank had to have it. And I'm kind of jealous, to be honest with you. Frank, you ever want to unload that thing? Let me know. Beautiful gun. So he got that done. I think he paid $650 for it. Granted, around that time, I think I could have got an AK for $450, $500. But this was a beautiful nickel-plated AK. So my memories, you know, years ago, was there real sweet deals? I don't know. So I go there, and I'm looking for this one. They have the same model, but this like greenish sand, whatever, military color. Same one I just showed you. I also got the pocket holster, they call it pocket shot. And let me tell you something, when you first get these things, it is a tight fit. So, his and hers, if you will. Well, I go down there, pay my $11, $6. Okay, I'm inside, browsing around. I go up I'm going to go up every aisle. Who's got what for what? Cheapest one I find was for $329. But it looked like it was a little different model. It was the same, but a little bit different. Like, is this a different generation? Because the little laser button on the side, like right here, was not that color. It was like a tan color or something. I'm like, oh, this is a trade-in. $329. Didn't I pay $350 for mine? Right across the street from the Florida State Fairgrounds, which is basically right where Caddy Corner, diagonal is where the Shoot Straight is. The gun store. Yeah, I paid $350. I'm not paying $329 for a trade-in. Whatever. Well, there's a Shoot Straight booth there too, and I went around the whole place. Never really found that kind of deal. $350. So I'm looking. Well, hell, that's not Shoot Straight. Let me go to the Shoot Straight guys. Find the gun. Yep, that's what I want. Okay. Yeah, it's $389. Man, I think I was just at your store like a week ago, and there was some for $350 plus the $50 rebate, which remind myself I need to do another one for the second gun. So I was like, you sure about that? Yeah, no, he's like, I can't sell for $350. That's like right where my cost is. I was like, well, I wonder if it was $399 because these retail for $419. Maybe it was $399. No, I'm pretty sure it's $350. How about $379? Well, I'm here. Okay, I started to say okay. And then I look over at the seats at the end where you got to go fill out the paperwork. Now, I do have a concealed carry, so I can get in and out the same day. But you still got to fill out the paperwork. They do the quick background check like they always have to do, and then you're out. I look over there, and there's a row of seats behind the main seats of people sitting waiting to even get to the main seat where they can fill out the paperwork. He's like, it'll be at least probably about 45 minutes to an hour. On second thought, I've changed my mind. Well, what if I come down another $10? From $389 to $379. I think that's when he said it. I'll be honest. If you came down to $69, I don't want to wait an hour. I might as well just go across the street. Again, I'm pretty sure I got it for a decent deal. It's right across the street. All right, take care. So I leave. Go across the street. Yep, $350. And even though that's their gun show company, Shoot Straight has their own company that rolls around with the gun show the whole time. And then there's a Shoot Straight store right across the street. I just paid $11 plus $6 to get in, to have to pay $379 potentially, or maybe $369 if I stayed. Could have just never did any of this nonsense and went straight over there and got the freaking thing. So I did. Went over there. Hardly anyone in the store. Fantastic. I want this one. I was just here last week. Thanks. Pocket shot holster. Grab one of those. Hook me up. Boop, boop, boop. Here you go, sir. Have a nice day. In and out in maybe 15 minutes. Maybe 20. 15 to 20 maximum. And that included me waiting for someone to come help me and all that crap. So, moral of the story, if you're looking for a sweetheart deal at a gun show, I think the only way you're going to do it is if you find somebody at the gun show who doesn't actually work there, and you can kind of do a deal in the parking lot kind of a thing. That might be the only way. But again, they're trying to pass the laws, no parking, I don't even know where the hell that's at these days. They were trying to pass a law, no parking lot sales. You got to go inside the gun show, don't know. Bottom line is, why am I wasting my time there? I just learned a lesson since it's been so many years. Don't do what I did. Having said that, because I'm so sure you just want to know everything about my personal life and what do I do and stuff, which is not true. I know that. But you may want to know the gun show story because you might be thinking, oh, yeah, gun show. Maybe not. Then again, if there's not any decent gun stores around you, maybe the gun show's your only shot at getting something decent for, somewhat of a decent price. You can talk them down a little bit of those shows, for sure. But anyways, big news. Wells Fargo. The Wells Fargo? The same Wells Fargo, by the way, if you download the document of the Pilgrim Society video I did, thanks to Charles Savoy, in that document, it talks about these two big to fail banks, who owned it back then and who did this. So Pilgrim Society member, owner, yep. Massive shareholder, Pilgrim Society, Wells Fargo, Pilgrim Society, yep. All the too big to fails, Pilgrim Society, all attached. So Wells Fargo was one of them on that list. And Wells Fargo is also the company that I did a video back not too long ago exposing the corruption at that freaking organization. They were opening customers' credit cards accounts, like creating a credit card account for a customer. And it had a fee or something attached. They didn't pay the fee. Or maybe it was some kind of a credit account. Didn't pay the fee. Customer, here's a late fee. Well, I didn't know I had that. Yeah, sorry about that. You're going to have to pay. Oh, customer, most of them, dang, I didn't know I had that account. Silly me. I should have paid more attention. No, they fraudulently opened up the account, nailed you with late fees so that they can get their, hey, I signed up a new customer bonus at work. Sign up a new customer. Sure, would you be interested in a low interest? Absolutely not. Piss off. That's normally how that goes. But, they get a little bonus if they sell it. I remember long ago my mom telling me at like JCPenney, she worked at JCPenney's a long time ago. And she would say, yep, absolutely, every single customer that comes through this line, I don't even have a choice. I have to ask every single person. It is mandatory. And if I don't say it, I'll basically get, yelled at by management. Would you like to open a such and such credit card today? Would you like to open a such and such credit card? No. But if she got a yes from somebody, she got a bonus for signing them up. And that's what these people at Wells Fargo did. And it was to the tunes of millions and millions and millions of dollars. Wells Fargo. Proud to be a bankster. So, ask me if I feel bad when I read you this headline. Wells Fargo fails U.S. bankruptcy test for the second time. Failed it the first time. We're going to fix them, like the banks do. We're going to fix some things. We're going to do this, do that. Let's do another little stress test, bankruptcy test. Failed it again. U.S. bank Wells Fargo has been hit with restrictions. Oh, I bet they're huge. Restrictions. Oh, you mean like you made $5 billion fraudulently rigging markets and things? Or fraudulently charging customers? Pay us a $20 million fine. Pay the fee. Promise you won't do it again. I'm not going to make you sign anything saying you won't do it again, but just promise verbally. So that next time you can ask for, as I say, it's better to ask for forgiveness than ask for permission. So pay this little $20 million fine. We'll have a big news story that you paid this fine because you're so wrong. But what we're not going to say in the news article is how many multiples of those millions you made committing the crime. Or sometimes billions, as the likes of JP Morgan has done. Anyways, U.S. Bank Wells Fargo has been hit with restrictions after attempts to fix issues with its bankruptcy plan failed. Bankruptcy plan? What do you mean? What bankruptcy plan? Are you suggesting that Wells Fargo may be in a position in the future to file for bankruptcy and they don't have a sufficient plan together in advance? What does this mean? This is a giant too big to fail bank. As a matter of fact, next sentence. Banks labeled too big to fail must have a so-called living will that will allow them to close down without the help of public money. I wonder if that includes bail-ins for old Wells Fargo by chance. Oh, we have a plan. We won't use public money. We'll use the depositors' money. Up and over the FDIC amount, of course. Wells Fargo will be barred from opening international branches and buying non-bank companies until it satisfies the regulators. The bank said it was disappointed with the regulators' decision. So that's it. You're barred from opening international branches, which that's kind of that's not that bad of a fine if I don't mind saying so. Get that piece of get those tentacles out of other countries before you destroy their economies and have to bail out Wells Fargo International. So that's actually not that bad, huh? Are the regulators actually going to start doing some stuff? Well, interesting. So they can't do that in buying non-bank companies. They can buy bank-type companies, but they cannot buy non-bank companies. Well, don't banks usually only do that? Big bank scoops little bank? big bank buys little bank, big bank buys financial company. Anyways, I mean, I never heard Wells Fargo is going to buy a, motherboard manufacturer for computers. Wells Fargo is going to buy a solid state device, hard drive company. No. So the second thing is probably a non-issue for them anyways. Until it satisfies the regulators. Regulators, mount up. The bank said it was disappointed with the regulators' decision. The Federal Reserve and Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, which is the FDIC, said that Bank of America, see a Pilgrim Society list, Bank of New York Mellon, absolutely see the Pilgrim Society list, JP Morgan Chase, see the list, etc., and State Street, whose living wills were also deemed not sufficient, deficient in April, and now had now adequately, wait a minute, so we're talking about last April, hold on. Bank of America, Bank of New York Mellon, JP Morgan Chase, and State Street, whose living wills were also deemed deficient in April, had now adequately addressed their shortcomings. But Wells Fargo has failed to do so. So some other too big to fails allegedly fixed their issues. And I do say allegedly because we know how these banks like to roll. Cook the books, move this off the negative balance sheet, put this on the positive balance sheet, the asset sheet, and this one over here, liability, let's get rid of that. Regulators, come look at our homework, we're ready. Oh, you did great. As soon as they close the door, put this stuff right back where it was. All that stuff you swept under the rug, sweep it back out. I guess Wells Fargo didn't get the memo on how to do that. The Fed and FDIC said the bank had failed to adequately address 2 of the 3 big concerns they had identified. It now has until the end of March, which, oh, wait a minute. That was a little bit older, excuse me. That was December of 2016. I had 2 links to read you. That was the first one, so Wells Fargo has a problem. The second one, same thing, related, published April 20th, 2017, just a couple days ago. So, this was in relation to people blowing the whistle inside, like how it got found out that they were opening credit card accounts for people, their customers, and then charging the crap out of them for late fees, fraudulently. How many whistleblowers did the feds ignore? In the Wells Fargo case, about 700. How many whistleblowers did the feds ignore? 7? No. 70? No. 700. Nothing to see here. The nation's top banking regulator identified problems with Wells Fargo's sales practices as far back as 2010, but failed to take timely action to halt the abuses that ultimately exploded in scandal 6 years later, a new government report says, compiled by 2 divisions of the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency. The internal report posted online Wednesday said the federal regulator missed opportunities to launch an earlier and deeper investigation of complaints that Wells Fargo sales incentives pushed employees to open accounts that may not have been approved by customers. Notice how they're kind about it. May not have been approved. No, read my lips. Were absolutely not approved by any of the customers. They did it anyways. Nonetheless, it wasn't until September 2016 that the OCC, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, and Los Angeles City Attorney's Office hit Wells Fargo with $185 million in penalties for secretly opening more than 2 million deposit and credit card accounts without consumer approval. 2 million accounts were created without approval. That is some serious sales commission. Sales team, good job. You guys met your numbers. I'm real happy with you guys. If only the boss knew we had to open these accounts fraudulently and commit felonies. So if 2 million were created, that's a lot of employees that would have been really, really busy. Did any of these people go to jail? Did anybody get, have you heard any story about this? Any news recently? However, I'm curious now about the other one, since it was December 2016, a few months ago. I'm just going to search Google now for news. Since it said March, I had to get their act together by March. We're now in April 22nd, about to be 23rd for you guys when you see this. Anything new? April 13th, 2017. There we go. Well, let's see. Wells Fargo says failure on living will test, the same test, is hurting trading revenues. Wells Fargo and Company failure to convince regulators it can go through bankruptcy. This is just posted 2 weeks ago. Without severely disrupting financial markets, is effectively costing the bank $100 million in trading revenues each quarter, its management said on Thursday. In December, Wells Fargo failed a so-called living will test administered by U.S. bank regulators. As a result, the bank is not allowed to establish international bank entities or acquire non-bank subsidiaries until regulators sign off on an amended plan. So we just need a plan. Just give us a plan and we'll sign off on it. Don't prove anything. Just tell us what you're going to do. Regulators can eventually force Wells Fargo to shrink its balance sheet to the level it was at on September 30th if it does not appease them. You ready for this? Within 2 years. But wait, I thought December said March we're going to relook at this. This is April 13th, 2017. 2 years. Hopefully you can get your act together. And notice what it said. Wells Fargo & Co.'s failure to convince regulators it can go through bankruptcy, here it is, without severely disrupting financial markets, which means stock market, all bank stocks included, which happen to go down when the market goes down anyway. So just generally speaking, the stock market. And not to worry, we gave them 2 extra years. We got them 2 years now to get their act together, just on paper. We just need to see it on paper. That's what it says. Regulators can eventually force Wells Fargo to shrink its balance sheet. How about getting with the program now? Have you regulators not been seeing how the market's been behaving lately? You not seeing what's been happening? The numbers old Jason Ford has been putting out in front of your face? Well, of course not. You wouldn't dare look at my channel. So what they're saying is if Wells Fargo happens to go down in some kind of bankruptcy, it can and will cause some major market problems. And since they're giving them up to 2 years from now, 2017, 18, 19, I got a sneaky suspicion we're going to have some problems before those 2 years is up, before anything gets done. Why? For the same reason I've always said. These banks are insolvent from the day they open their doors. They take the money that they have in their accounts, lend it out 9 times the value. Many times, as you've seen recently, people can't pay it back, can't pay it back, can't pay it back, can't pay it back. Depositors get nervous, I'll take some money out. Not good for the banks. And they can't gamble on Wall Street like they used to. So they have to go back to the old loan the deadbeats money thing. Pfft, that was so 1990s. Or so pre-2010. We got to go back to that now. There ain't no money in that. Look at the freaking interest rates. There ain't no money in that. We want to go gamble on Wall Street. And if we lose, we want to be bailed out again. That's where the money's at. Anyways, I would love to come out here and do a Wells Fargo just bit the dust. Oh, boy. Boy, would I love to come out here and do that one. Matter of fact, any of the too big to fail banks. And I'd have to get the whole family involved. I think one would I'll do the beatboxing. One of them could do the little melody. Have a couple of them singing an actual song. You know, a little parody you have to write real quick about whatever bank biting the dust. The hell's this thing flying around? Anyways, I'm out. I'm only doing 2 videos today. Take care.